Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome back to episode 24 of Civilization 5 as Russia on Deity. This is most likely going to be the final episode of this series, and one way or another we will find out whether we have won or lost. It's all going to come down to how long it takes me to build that final spaceship part, and if I can get it built before somebody attacks me or somebody else wins. I think the only person that's anywhere close to getting a win at the moment is the Dutch with a cultural victory, but apparently they're still about 200 turns away from getting a influential status over Persia, providing nothing changes. We have got both Persia and the Netherlands at war with Spain. Hopefully that will stop Spain from attacking me. And also now the Netherlands have taken Githyonia, so we didn't get it back, but at least it means we haven't got a Spanish city right next to our capital anymore, so that is going to help a little bit. We have a great scientist. I am going to pop that great scientist. We've now discovered particle physics, so we can now start working on the final spaceship part. That final spaceship part is going to take 8 turns. I don't think we can speed that up, but we're going to try. So anything we can do to... We're not bothered about growth anymore. We're not even bothered about science anymore. So anything that we can do to increase our production output, we should be doing. So I'm going to sacrifice science and even sacrifice food for additional production. That is what my plan is here. Some of these do have production on them, so I don't necessarily want to give all of them up. And we've got a 4 production tile there, so we can go a 2 to a 4. We don't need to work the Writers Guild anymore, so we could go and start working things like the factory slots. We don't need to work the university anymore, so let's go and work the windmill and the workshop. Now we've got it down to 14 turns. There's a couple of tiles here that give us 3 production. So if we've got any tiles that are only giving us 2 or less, that won't even cause starvation. So we could go into a 3 production tile there. Get rid of 2 food for 3 production. We do have another production tile there, 3 production. I'm not necessarily sure we can afford to work that as well. We'll give it a go. Yep, we're not stagnating. Down to 13 turns now. I honestly don't think we can... I honestly don't think we can get more out of it than that, to be honest. That is probably the best that we're going to be able to do. So, is there any buildings that we could buy that would speed things up? Not really. The ironworks, potentially, but that's a wonder. To take 3 turns to build it, and it would only give us 8 production, so it's really not worth it. So we've got 13 turns to stay alive. We've got a cargo ship, was previously going to Tarsus. That can carry on. I wish I had a free internal caravan at the moment. We'll keep that guided missile asleep here in case we need to use it against the Spanish at any point in the future. So 13 turns or less until we find out what happens. We're actually about to get a great artist. What I'm going to do with that great artist is I'm going to pop him straight the way for a golden age. And that should give us some additional production and should increase the build speed even more. So that should help out. Meanwhile, of course, we still have all of the Spanish and Dutch submarines and ships off the coast exchanging torpedoes, but that's fine. This game's actually gotten rather tense towards the end. And there's only actually 5 civilizations left in it in a game that started with 8. The Japanese got wiped out, then I think Byzantium got wiped out, and then Polynesia got wiped out. And Polynesia actually started off it quite powerful. Okay, so there is our peace treaty with Spain. So that has now expired. So the Spanish could attack us if they wanted to, but they are still at war with Persia and the Netherlands. So we'll allow that to stay happening. I don't suppose for any... We could try and get Spain to go to war with... Would you be willing to declare war on Indonesia? She would actually do it as well. 2 gold per turn, 3 gold per turn, 4 gold per turn. There we go. So Spain is now at war with everybody except me. So hopefully she shouldn't bother me and we should be able to finish this off. We don't want open borders with you, though. So 12 turns of production remaining on that final spaceship part. Shame we never managed to get that last tenant that would have allowed us to bought it, but then we're out of money anyway, because when Spain declared war on us, we lost most of our trade ships, which were all going to Spain. Silly mistake on my part, that. I mean, I really should have seen it coming. I know Spain can't be trusted. I should have either built up, but mind you, even building up a bigger army or navy wouldn't have helped all that much. They declared war on me and destroyed my city, took Githyonia within the in the same turn they declared war. The only way I could have really stopped that was if I'd have bribed them to attack somebody else in advance, but I did not. Let's get that great artist then. We've got 11 turns left to build. If we pop a golden age, now we are down to 10 turns. It only shaved a single turn off, which is a little bit of a shame. 20% production is a little bit weird. We didn't get a bit more out of that. 20% should have knocked 20% of the build time off, really. So I would have expected about 2 or 3 turns to have removed from the timer, but sometimes it's a little bit squirrely just how the modifiers stack. But anyway, we're looking like 10 turns at the moment. We're friendly with the Netherlands. I really don't think the Netherlands are going to declare war on us. They're usually quite peaceful anyway. Gold per turn to him for coal has ended. I don't think we need to worry about that. So I'm just keep going through and just sort of clicking next turn until we see what happens. Of course, we'll deal with any potential issues that may arise as and when we get to them. So basically everybody is culturally influential over us now. That still doesn't mean that anybody is going to win. We've got 9 turns. Now then, are Persia or the Netherlands going to get a cultural victory within 9 turns? Let's just have a look. So the Netherlands are going to take 189 turns to become dominant over Persia. Persia, yeah, they don't have a chance. So we shouldn't have to worry too much about another victory type here. Let's go ahead and get boarding party 2 on this destroyer. And we'll get this destroyer out here. And at Wilsonia, we will go ahead and we will start work on another missile cruiser. We're not going to need it, and in fact, we'll probably be over by the time that gets built. But at least we are working on something. Yeah, 7 turns until we get our next social policy. By that point, it's going to be too late because there'll only be a single turn left. Friendly trade route plundered wasn't one of ours because we're not at war with anybody. So it's most likely one that belonged to Persia or even to Indonesia. We're still making positive money. Not enough to actually buy anything, but at least we're not going into debt. So we were selling incense. We can probably still sell that incense, assuming he still has some money. So let's go ahead and sell our incense to him. We'll take gold per turn because he doesn't really have an awful lot of gold. So there we go, 15 gold per turn coming in. We've got another session coming up. Again, it doesn't really matter what thing gets voted for at this point. I think before the vote even happens, we should probably finish this game. Really isn't any other way I can get more production out of this city. Not unless we change some of the farms into mines. But at this point in the game, that's probably a little bit late. The workers can't really do much there. Yeah, it looks like a lot of the Spanish fleet has been sunk. The Netherlands are no longer at war with Spain, which is a little bit concerning. They are still at war with Persia, however. Not too sure if Persia's actually made any headway. Persia did manage to take Constantinople. No, Spain still have Constantinople, even though it got nuked by Persia. Also looks like Persia has been nuked by Spain as well. But if they're just going to sit there nuking each other, that is fine with me. So just let them bash the snot out of each other, and I'm just going to sit over here on my island. William is plotting against me. Well, we have a declaration of friendship, and he's not normally a backstabber. So I would very much hope that he doesn't. Wow, now Persia's actually declared war on Indonesia. So Indonesia's going to struggle. Now, the problem I'm going to have now is if the Netherlands does decide that he's going to declare war on me, then we are going to be in a lot of trouble. Maybe we can get the Netherlands to go to war with Persia. That could potentially help. So let's actually think about doing that. Give him someone to fight with. Would you be willing to declare war on Persia? He's saying no, but he might mean yes. We've already discovered that sometimes it does work. 10 gold per turn? No, you're not willing to do it, are you? Okay then, Persia, would you be willing to declare war on the Netherlands? He's saying no, but he might mean yes. No, okay, we can't actually do that. There's no downside to having open borders with the Netherlands, and he wants open borders. So let's go ahead and ask for the open borders with him. And he's saying yes. Now, I don't think he's going to declare on me. He is still friendly. He doesn't like that we've made a declaration of friendship with one of their enemies. Could try and get a defensive pact with them. I think overall he's certainly more friendly. I don't recall him being a backstabber in this game. So we should be okay, but it's hard to tell sometimes. I mean, he's moving a lot of aircraft around. I mean, the AI is always plotting against you. We only need to survive 5 turns. But with this many aircraft, he could probably declare war and take Moscow in a single turn. Which would be very, very bad for us. So we'll just have to see what happens. A unit needing orders. We have a caravan. It's probably not going to make much difference at this point, but what I am going to do is I'm going to change this caravan to Wilsonia and then send production back to Moscow on the next turn. Again, it'll probably be too little production to make any significant difference, but I'm still going to try it anyway. But we're 4 turns away, unless anything changes, from building the final spaceship part. William's turn. I'm getting nervous now every time it's his turn. He moves a lot of units around. He's moving a lot of aircraft around. He's trying to repair up all of that stuff up there near Githyonia. Looks like he's actually got proper bombers now as well. Giving him open borders doesn't make any difference at this point. I've got all of the antiquity sites that it's possible for me to get, so he's not going to steal any of those. There's no point me worrying about pressure from his tourism because he's already dominant over me, and I don't need to really worry about him moving units into my territory and declaring war on me, because if you declare war on somebody when you're inside their borders, all of your units get shoved outside anyway, so it doesn't really make an awful lot of difference. So 3 turns remaining. If we go and send production to Moscow, it's only +6. Probably isn't going to make any difference at all. No, it didn't. But it was worth a try, though. We have a worker with nothing to do. I'm just going to go ahead and just straight up disband you, because there really is no point in you being there anymore. So it's all basically breath held on these last 3 turns. Can we get this final part finished? Of course, if I was actually a human player playing as the Netherlands and I could see that Russia were just about to get a scientific victory, then it'd definitely be worth declaring. Even if you thought you were going to lose the war overall, you'd want to do everything you could to try and stop that particular player from winning. I don't think the AI sees it that way. I think the AI... Each AI picks a victory type and just works towards that victory. I don't think they try to actively stop somebody else from winning. I think that is one advantage that human players do have. Sciences funding will actually help that go through if we can, because even though sciences funding is normally bad as a player, because what sciences funding does is it allows the people with less science to catch up to the people with more science, but it will slow down the production of tourism, which hopefully means it'll take even longer for the Netherlands to become culturally influential over Persia. Not that that's going to happen before the end of this game anyway, at least I don't think so. Unless something majorly remarkable happens, we should be good. So we've got 2 turns left. Once again, it is the Netherlands' turn to move around. Haven't declared war. They're just positioning units. That is fine. Heart's really beating now. I think I'm going to do it, but I thought that a few videos ago, and then Spain declared war, so you never can quite tell. Let's get another social policy as well, as useless as that is at the end of the game. Science funding passes, that's fine. May adopt a policy, so we could go and get that final talent. And it's this one, may buy spaceship parts with gold. If only we'd have gone and got that one. We'll take it anyway. It's a bit pointless getting it now. We are 1 turn away. We're going to hit next turn. Providing we survive this turn, we've won the game. So we'll see what happens. Yep, you're happy about the sciences funding. Persia's turn. I don't think Persia and Spain can do anything to us because they can't take Moscow. They don't have any melee units anywhere near me. So the only person that could stop me now is the Netherlands. If they declared war, hit me with a load of bombers, and then used a melee unit to come in quickly and grab Moscow. But it's no longer their turn. We've finished the spaceship part then as soon as the turn kicks over. A lot of city-states messing around. Well, this turn's taking a lot longer than it should. There we go. The spaceship part has finished. We're going to add that to the spaceship. And we have victory. Star of the North and 1 small step. So, this is... let's just go and have a look at the demographics here. So our rank was 5th in a lot of things. We got the most happiness, and we also had the high science, which we knew Spain was pretty much topping everything else, apart from the Netherlands, who had the largest army. Let's have a quick look at the replay, assuming it might actually work in this video. Now, last time I tried to do this, it didn't work as well as it should have done. So we've got the... took 500 turns to get that win. That was a long time. 4 hours and 53 minutes to be able to do that. See, there were a few... Persia did capture a few Spanish cities in there. Let us go ahead and have a look at the graphs a second. Particularly interested in seeing what the science is like. Number of cities, by the way, we remained constant. I mean, I only had 3 cities for the entire game, apart from right at the end. I mean, Spain really grew and grew. They had their own island, and they took a lot of stuff from people. But I only had 3 cities for the entire game, apart from at the end when I only had 2. So being able to win there was quite remarkable. So that was a... Okay, my second win on Deity. It was messy, it was not optimal, it was very, very close. It probably wasn't all that interesting or exciting, but I've proven something there. Proven 2 things. First of all, it wasn't a fluke. I was actually able to win my second Deity game in a row. The second thing that I've proven is you don't really need to go to war. For that entire game, I didn't go to war with anybody. Spain went to war against me, and I did lose that war, but I still managed to win the game. And considering I only had a very small amount of units, and considering I only had 3 cities, yes, having that isolated start definitely helped, but you don't have to go around warmongering in order to be able to win. So I'm glad that I've proven that. And also, doing it all on 3 cities, I think was actually quite amazing. Science per turn. Spain were actually getting a huge amount of science per turn towards the end. It probably helped them when they went and took Githyonia from us, which is probably the peak there. Can we see number of technologies? Number of known techs. So yeah, again, as the player, you always start at the bottom because all of the AI actually start with about 4 or 5 techs unlocked. But we did sometime around the sort of late 900s start to catch up with people, and then eventually we got way out in front, and Spain were starting to catch up, but I think we did really, really well there. So I'm quite happy with that campaign. As I just said a few minutes ago, it was certainly not an optimal campaign, but my second Deity win, I'm going to chalk that one up to experience, and say that if I ever attempt this again, I probably do need to be a little bit more aggressive to build a bigger army, because you can't always guarantee you're going to have an isolated start and be next to somebody who is as friendly as the Netherlands tends to be. But I think I'm probably going to give Civilization a little bit of a break for now, because I'm playing quite a bit of Stellaris. That doesn't mean to say I'm not going to play any more Civilization 5 in the future. I just want to have a little bit of a rest from it. I know I've said this before, both in this series and previous series, that I absolutely love Civilization 5. I think it is an amazing game. If I play on the easier difficulties, anything below King, I just find it too easy, and it's like a sandbox mode now for me playing it on those difficulty levels. So it's still fun, but there's no challenge. On the flip side, trying to play on Deity, and I suppose even to a certain degree Immortal, it's a little bit too challenging, and even though I've proven I can beat it on those difficulty levels, the thing that takes the enjoyment factor out of it for me is the fact that it's not because it's more difficult, it's because the AI is essentially cheating. So you're essentially having to play against a group of, you know, you're in an 8-player game, you're the only one that's not cheating, and you have to try and win. And that saps a lot of the fun out of it for me. Also, the fact that on Deity, there's pretty much a meta that you have to follow in order to be able to win. Although I have, to a certain degree, proven that there are other ways of winning on Deity without just being ultra aggressive and hostile. But the fact that if you consider social policies, for example, on a Deity game, you're nearly always going to start with tradition. There may be 1 or 2 scenarios where liberty might be the slightly better choice, but most of the time it's always going to be tradition, because having the faster border growth is fantastic. Having oligarchy so that you get some maintenance-free units and your cities do more damage with a garrisoned unit is fantastic. Faster build speed on wonders, because even if you're not building world wonders, you're still building national wonders, so that's brilliant. Free culture buildings, the ability to buy great engineers with faith. There's so much good stuff going on in tradition, and you would never start a game on the high difficulty levels and pick something like honor or patronage or piety or aesthetics. There's just absolutely no point. Why would you ever bother doing that? Same with the late game. You're always going to pick and finish rationalism. You'd be stupid not to. I very much doubt you can win a game on Deity without doing that. So it comes down to a certain point where you can't afford to make mistakes at Deity, and you know, to be fair, you assume somebody playing on Deity's got a bit of experience in the game and therefore should know what they're doing and shouldn't make as many mistakes. You can make 1 or 2 screw-ups, as I've proven in this campaign time and time again. You can make mistakes and still win, but you can't try something different. You can't decide to try a new strategy or a new tactic. You've pretty much got to stick to the same meta, the same methodology over and over again to win on the high difficulty levels, and that's why I find it a little bit unfulfilling. So I think if I was playing just for fun, I'd probably be playing somewhere around King or Emperor difficulty level. But probably not any higher than that. But even if I'm not recording videos for the channel, I will still be playing some Civilization 5 here and there, and sort of practicing, trying new things out, trying to get better. If you've been following this channel for a long time now, you'll know I started playing Civilization 5 on like Chieftain or War Chief, whatever the sort of easy difficulties are. And even then I didn't know what I was doing, and I've eventually sort of evolved and learnt and grew and become better at the game to a point where I can now beat it on Deity 2 times in a row. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. It has been an amazing ride. I really hope that you did enjoy this campaign. I'll see you guys on the next video, whatever that may be, and until then, goodbye for now.